Welcoming guys to episode 29 of Coffee and Chel. This is our second attempt at recording this, as the original did not work and Keso's computer crashed entirely. We had a really good intro and all
We
sorts
did.
of stuff. I'm still streaming on my Subathon, folks. For anyone that is listening to this in a future date, I have now been streaming for 421 hours straight, obviously with sleep and whatnot in there. But nonetheless, the energy is not at an all-time high, so I apologize for my very melancholy demeanor. But
I'll try to carry it
yeah,
here. I'll
my
try to carry it on my back.
like you always do, my co-host Keso will carry. So yesterday you opened up with you almost had to deal with like a shooter. So let's just pick it
Yeah.
up there.
All right, dude. So, regardless of the beginning, my wife and I are out at this bar and grill.
Yep.
The bartender runs from behind the bar. She goes and locks all the doors, and we're wondering like what's going on. We hear somebody talking. They're like, "This guy was here, a few minutes ago. He threatened to come back and shoot the place up or shoot somebody there." I don't know what like the full, information was. So bartender calls the cops. Um, and the guy's supposedly like coming back, right? So then the one guy that's like over by the door in this bar, he's like, "Oh, the car is here or something." Like this guy comes back. So I grab my wife and we go to the back like of the place, and like we're by like the back door and the bathroom. And so I'm like worried that like the guy will like come in through the front of the place, and then like fake it and go around back and like go through the back door. So like I'm holding the back door just in case, like I'm trying to be prepared. And then while this is going on, there's like this group of like 70-year-olds there. They were there for a bowling league. I guess they go to this place every Tuesday night. So I'm thinking like, oh cool, I'm gonna be in a mass shooting. 70-year-olds die. Like me and my wife are just here for the first time we ever went to this place. So we see everybody like from the back, we're looking out to the front. We see everybody like crowded, moving towards the back. I guess the guy's walking towards the door. I don't know if he tried the door or what, but he ends up leaving. I don't know if he tried to open it, it was locked or whatever. I don't know why he just didn't shoot the door open.
Yeah.
But the guy leaves, and then the bartender starts closing people out. And I'm still worried he's going to come back. And then like 20 minutes pass from the first, like whenever she locks the door and her calling the cops. The cops had not come. 20 minutes. We're supposed to live in like a super safe area with amazing, cops or whatever. Nobody comes. So we close out. We end up leaving. But then I'm like, we are never going out again and leaving our house. And like, I'm going to get a gun, I guess. I guess it's the only way to protect your family. I have no idea. But I was scared because it's
Dude, that's
like,
scary.
it's scary. And I'm like, it's not like we go out that much, but it's like, it's supposed to be fun on like a Tuesday night, just hanging out, getting like, I'm gonna be drinking. She's not drinking, so I'm getting a beer or whatever. And you go out and you got to worry about like somebody shooting you, I guess.
Good lord.
You
Yeah, I've never
know?
had anyone brandish a firearm at me. I don't feel like that's common. Unless you're obviously like in the
I,
military or you're maybe a police officer or something like
yeah,
that. But
I
I've,
I don't know. But then and then there was like a big story in Pittsburgh 2 nights ago. There was like this house party where like these kids like rented like an Airbnb. I don't know if there was like an adult that rented it and then like a bunch of kids showed up, but there was like 200 people at this house party, and then somebody showed up with a gun and shot like 11 people, and it was like right where my one friend lives, and it's like right on the street where my wife's cousin lives. So it's just like I don't know. It's always a divisive topic, but it's always like, dude, this stuff can happen at any time.
dude, that's insane, bro. Well, I'm glad you're all
Right.
right. Yo, so okay, guys, just heads up, like NHL, it's slowly winding down, obviously, and we can't fill an hour of talking about NHL, so we're gonna wing a lot of this and obviously discuss GWC and things like that while Kesso is still competing in it. But while you said house party, I'm gonna do this quite a bit over the next few weeks. Best house party moment you've ever been at? Give me your best house party that you've ever attended in your entire life.
Dude, I just remember one time in college,
Okay,
my wife and I were somewhere, cause
okay.
like
Were you
and
dating yet?
where our yeah, because we were dating from freshman year,
Okay.
so like I remember the cops showed up, and like I don't know if they were going after like drugs or something, but I remember we were hiding in like this back room while the cops were going through the place, and it was like this. I don't know if it was like a closet or what, but it was like it had this back like cement wall, and we're just like hiding in there waiting for the cops to leave. I just remember having fun that night, drinking a lot, and not too much. Like I don't remember like any I wasn't a big like partier in high school, so like there wasn't anything crazy in high school, and then college it's just like going out. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't have like a Project X story,
I have
right?
like I could probably fill like two podcasts for the like high school parties. So,
Yeah.
did you see any of my wrist game that I streamed during the subathon?
Dude, I've been really like
Fair enough. Fair enough.
which I'll tell you about later, but yeah, it's just been crazy here. So
Okay.
no, I
Okay.
didn't.
So me and my three buddies that I play Risk Legacy with. For anyone who doesn't know what Risk Legacy is, it's basically normal Risk, but it comes in a box, and you only get 15 rounds, 15 games of it, and anything that happens in game one carries on to game two and game three and game four. So there's lots of crazy stuff, and then like there's these secret envelopes. It's like open when everyone has won one game, and then like new factions will come in and stuff. So it's very very cool. So my friend texted me. He's like, dude, he's like, your subathon's not ending. So he's like, what if we just come over there and we, put on our best behavior and we just stream a couple games versus Legacy. I was like, sure, absolutely, because trying to get everyone together on the same night when we're married and two of them have kids and like it's just impossible. So they come over and whatnot, and I completely forgot what I was going with. Anyway, so one of them was my best friend Kyle, who I talk about quite a bit.
Yeah.
Kyle, in high school, he's been my best friend since like grade 10, and he had this garage. His dad's a carpenter, owns his own carpenter business. But when when he was younger, his dad worked at home, and he has this like 6-car garage that we like turned into like the ultimate high school gross like place to hang out. It was always clean, but we would go out on the weekend at night and we'd go around to new development houses and we'd find like carpet that was like extra carpet, and we somehow managed to carpet this whole place so it was
Okay.
warmer. We
Was it
made
all the consistent like carpet, like the same carpet throughout?
yeah, for the most part, we were very,
Okay.
very particular. We found we would go on Kijiji and we'd find people giving away free sectional couches, and we would like go and get new sectionals, well, new in quotes that weren't like brutal and we hadn't spilled any booze on it like that. And we built a bar, got a fridge, built this like bought a sound system for it, pulled all our money together and bought a big, huge like 50-inch LCD TV when it was like newer. This is like 2006, seven. Anyways, so I have like a million nights there because his mom was just kind of like out to lunch a little bit, and like
Okay.
she would scream but like never do anything. So we would know that we just had to endure her screaming while we have like 25 people in his garage just all drunk, like all like just boozing and whatever. Anyways, there's one night in particular, there was this one girl, and we never really let her come over because she had really crazy parents, and they would always cause like an issue and whatnot. And she was very nice, but she would always drink way too much. And this one night, we were all actually 19. This was actually when we were in college. So our first year of college. This is one of the last parties we ever had. And so there's like 20 of us there. I think it might have been Christmas break. And so it's freezing outside, so we can't go outside. So sure enough, like she has a little bit too much to drink, and everyone's like, okay, like we had to like put her to bed essentially, like on when it wasn't like a crazy rage or like that. But then I guess her mom ends up showing up in the driveway, gets in the house or gets knocks on the door, right? All 20 of us go into the back of like his carpenter garage, right? It's this little room. There's like 20 of us rammed into this little tiny storage room, right? Kyle has had way too much to drink. He's somehow in his boxers, laying on the couch. Okay, mom somehow managed to get in the front door of our place. We used to call it the shop. She got into the shop. Okay, and she just starts screaming at our friend. And this is nothing new, right? And we're all just like kind of like laughing or whatever. But Kyle like comes to, and he looks over at her, and this lady's pretty intimidating. She's like mega Karen, if like that, you know what I mean? Like to
Oh
paint
yeah,
a
did she have
picture.
the haircut as
I
well?
don't know about the haircut, but like that's how you
Okay.
describe it, to paint a picture. And he looks over at her and he goes, "Man, would you just shut up?" And like we're like 19 years old or whatever, just little shitheads. And all of us like, she's like, I'm gonna call the cops on you. You're dosed. You're done. But I just remember looking at all my friends, terrified, laughing, and then my one buddy was like scared that we were in the back, and it was like all of us just fumbled out of this back room because there was this one back little door. And by the time that she was done screaming, she came out, and there was like 20 of us sitting by her car. It's a very awkward experience, but I don't know why Kyle made me think of that one. But there's a lot of other ones. I mean, Kyle getting way too hammered and he decided to jump off like his roof. Somehow didn't break anything.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like there was a lot of like really just getting Kyle to do really dumb things. But nonetheless, The best party I've ever been to was my grad party, though. I told
Oh
this on
yeah, how was
stream.
that?
I told this on stream. I was with my high school girlfriend and my best friend Kyle and his girlfriend at the time, and I had my car, my shitty car, and right before at graduation, like the valedictorian, she's very popular, but I was kind of like in like every group. Whereas
Hmm.
Kyle was like the class clown, so he like really wasn't like like the jocks and like athletes or whatever didn't really like him all that much because he was just kind of annoying in that sense, but he wasn't like hated. Anyways, he wasn't getting he wasn't like he was getting invited anywhere, and so the valedictorian girl comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, we're having a party. You guys need to come." And I looked at her, I'm like, "You sure?" And she's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Just bring a tent," and I was like, "All right, sure, why not?" You know what I mean? It's grad. This is the last time we're in high
Yeah.
school. I show up and there's this place in Niagara called Chippewa, and it's like the city that runs along the top of the falls. So it's very very nice, and along the parkway, and like you can literally run around this path that is like water, like the top of the water before you go over the falls. And we're driving back, and we get to her address, and it's like this, dude. It's like out of a movie. It's like a 50-foot driveway into this like two-story like mansion thing, and I'm like, all right. I see all these cars parked up front. I park my car. I grab our tent. And I can hear the music. I get in behind, and we walk around the side of the house, and dude, it was legitimately like out of a movie. I will never forget the scene. It was like on the left was like 50 tents, and on the right this big huge sound system set up with like spotlights like crisscross on the backyard lawn that made like a dance floor, and there was this like 10-foot fight bonfire made out of like wooden slats and volleyball.
This was at her house, right?
Yeah, dude, and she just threw this party. But I'll never forget. Um, my graduating class was maybe 100 people. Like my school maybe had 700, so maybe it was like 150, 200 people, and there's
Yeah.
like well over 100 people at this party. And one of the guys that like I was friends with that was on the football team comes up to me and he's like, dude, he hands me a beer and he's like, dude, you got to come see this. I was like, okay. And there's like kind of like a circle, like commotion going on. We walk in, and one of the biggest nerds ever must have had his first beer, and he is just losing his mind, having the time of his life, dancing around, and no one was making fun of him. It was just hilarious. It was just happiness. And it was one of the best parties. There was no drama. It was every single clique at my high school. I will never forget. It was very, very fun.
Yeah.
But
That's
anyways,
awesome.
yeah, it was a nice memory.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk. Let's get GWC out of the way. So,
Oh yeah, let's get it out of the way.
I mean, so this weekend you've got a big tilt.
I do, man. How exciting is that? I'm actually really looking forward to this.
It will be very, very fun to watch because it is like, I, it is by far the best GWC matchup so far.
Yeah, yeah, easily, right? So, first round I'll be playing Saphir, and then the other side of that four-man bracket, you have Kush and Regs playing against each other. So whoever wins out of me and Saphir will be playing one of those two. So,
Do both those games happen? Like both those series happen same day?
yeah, yeah. Isn't that insane?
So if you win these two rounds, you're in the draft.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're in the draft then.
So for anyone that doesn't know, we're down to 16 people on each console, and when they get down to 4 people on each console, they enter a draft where they no longer use their own hut teams, and the 16 people will actually draft a team from a pool of players, and it will mimic versus player stats. So Connor McDavid will be like 94, 93, for example. And it'll be like it'll be even essentially. You can draft your own team, but
Yeah.
craziness is that 16 people. How long is this draft gonna take?
Dude, I don't know because like the last whenever they've done the draft, it's always been like eight
Eights and
people in a
eights.
draft.
It's the final eight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I wonder if they've never included like the full NHL roster. It's always
This
been like certain players, but I wonder with 16 people if they will.
I heard that it is supposed to be like quite a full roster because yeah, there was like years where I'm trying to think of an example like Taves wasn't in the lineup or
Yeah.
you know what I mean, Bergeron wasn't in the list of players, but like McDavid and Matthews were in all the big ones, but um so yeah, I would think that it's almost a full list, but man, 16 if you draft first, you're not drafting again until 32nd. Like
Isn't that insane?
the teams are going to be awfully balanced. Like it's
Yeah. I really hope I get to that part because I like the draft. Like that's the most fun to me.
yeah.
So that'd be a lot of fun. But that's a big if. Like that's
It is.
legit.
This is yeah. You definitely have the all four of you have the hardest route. So, Regs was the runner up in North America of last year. So he was
Mhm.
one game away from winning the GWC, and then you have Kush, who you beat, last year.
Yeah.
Very very good player, and then you have Saphir, who is again among the top 10 for sure in North America. So yeah, like it is definitely going to be. What's your what's your like strategy? Is anything change?
Yeah, dude, it's changed a lot. In Saphir, I ended up playing Junior Pens on stream a couple times on Friday night, and I knew Saphir was watching, and I'm like, I don't care. So it's a lot of shots. I'm kind of like it's a mixture between the Junior Pens play style and mine.
Okay.
I ended up scrimming Junior Pens a couple weeks ago, and he was doing some stupid stuff that worked. So I ended up putting it into my game plan, and I think if I mix all that stuff together, I have a really good shot.
Yeah,
And then nothing ever changes defensively, just skill zone, right? So
what I'm
I think I'll
curious
be good.
for is that no offense to either of you, but there's always been moments in your GWC runs, both of you in the past, where like you've gone out earlier, maybe. Well, not
Yep.
last year for you, you played Gren, but in prior years, right? But still,
Mhm.
nonetheless, like it was
I agree
earlier.
with that completely. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of you is going to be awfully close, like and you'd have to think it's Regs, but Kush is a very good player, and Regs seems to have not played nearly as much this year than he did prior,
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
tough. So it'll be really interesting. And then all the other one, like all the other run like brackets, it's just there is a clear favorite on each
Yep.
console, and I think we're starting to see the issues that are going to arise, obviously with EA not making cross console, and then GWC having to run with four. The issue with that because I mean, whether it be bans or upsets or whatever, like the top player pool is just shrinking. So
Looking at like the players that are left, I forget if I told this to you. No, I didn't tell this to you earlier. Have you ever looked at like the standings from like the 1999 Tour de France, where it's like you look back and like 9 out of the 10 people are banned later for like PEDs? Like that's kind of what like the top player list for NHL GWC is right now because everybody's just getting knocked out.
God, it is a wild, wild affair.
Yeah.
I hope that at some point we get some clarity on it. In terms of like consistency and reasoning behind everything. Obviously, this I don't know if there's an appeal process or anything like that, but it's tough, a lot, especially the lifetime thing. I mentioned this in the last podcast. I think that is way too over the top. But I don't run the events, nor am I involved currently yet. So I'm just someone who plays NHL and talks about it. So
Yeah.
nonetheless,
Yeah, of course.
Montreal. Man, does this one feel less? It feels less. Like it
Yeah,
just
I think this whole year has an asterisk on it, right? Especially with
is it what
GWC.
it's crazy because last year with the with COVID, like you would think that would be worse because of the four consoles and then all of the bands and people just tattling on each other and it just, you know what I mean, like it's just you know tough,
Yeah.
man. It's tough a lot, and I don't know what's gonna come of it. And I mean the future GWC matches, we lost some of like the best players in the world.
We did, yeah. I mean, we lost Josh,
Josh,
you know.
Josh is
John Wayne's
definitely the biggest
out.
one.
I know
John was
John Wayne's not
knocked,
out for
but
for the band, but like he
yeah,
was knocked out and he's always somebody that goes far and always has exciting matchups.
yeah, his events Cammy was like one of the best like GWC games I've seen like ever watched it. It was just really good. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just feels like like I don't know, its luster is not there, and I'm wondering
Yeah.
like, and I'm assuming it's because of the bands, but it's just like a lot less hype. I guess would be the way to say it. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's
Unless like streams leading up to it, like last year you had like the every weekend for a month
yeah.
was like, you know,
I would think that we see some streams after the draft portion, or maybe even the draft itself. I hope the draft is streamed because I think a lot of people that play Hut would like to see how um, how
dude,
like
if I make it there, I'll have the draft room like Belichick that one year with his dog in the room. Do you remember that?
but then he leaves and it goes back to
Yeah.
it. It's just a
It'll
dog and
just
the
be Henry.
laptop.
Yeah.
And it looks like Keso drafts Dustin Bufflin.
Yep. for sure.
Oh man, how about
But
that
I mean,
clip? How about that clip that my editor Tyler made?
dude, that was hilarious. He's good, man.
Dude, I said I saw the original thing. I'm like, Tyler, I need you to dress this up a little bit. And
Yeah,
if you haven't seen it, it's Baby Keso from
that was
2013,
19, 19. Yeah, 19.
and he's at a Virgin Gaming tournament. I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah.
How much was the prize pool in that?
Ah, dude, 70K for first. Isn't that insane?
That makes me ill.
Dude, I had the worst like I had the like most confidence going into that, and then like
Who'd you
I think we
lose
talked
to?
about it. Some
Tuka
French guy.
Rask? Oh,
No, I didn't. I didn't lose to him. It wasn't the year he won. I lost to some French guy. I went
J-Prool?
down screen. No, because he
Okay,
wasn't even around then. Like this
okay.
guy's not around. Like a lot of those people aren't around anymore.
No, yeah, for sure. None of them are. Like very
Yeah,
few. It
yeah.
showed a clip of like the room packed. Like who was there?
So it wasn't just that tournament. So Virgin Gaming at the time, it was $1 million tournament, I believe. So NHL had a $200,000 prize pool, and Madden and FIFA had $400,000 prize pools. So they were giving away $1 million that day. Um, so they had pretty much 256 Madden players, 256 FIFA players, and then 128 NHL players, all in that huge like event space. It was awesome, and the bad thing about it is like that's probably like the most exciting tournament that's ever happened in NHL, but it's also like the worst ran. Like it was all single elimination like throughout, and then like somebody had to go down screen 2 periods.
The down
So
screen
like
part I remember was
yeah,
brutal.
and the single elimination's rough too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like completely randomized brackets too. Like so, y- I remember that year I was in a bracket with like, or no, the year before I was in a bracket with like No Bounds and like
No
some of the other
bounds.
big
I love
names.
Ed. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, like it was just like people that didn't know how to run like that kind of event, or like they didn't care and they were more putting it on for the spectacle, right?
Yeah. No,
But those
exactly.
were a lot of fun because I got to see like Madden players that like I grew up watching. Like I remember Problem Right was there. So
Really?
seeing yeah, so
He was been around that long.
his subathon's going on as long as yours
I
right now, right?
saw
Because I
that.
follow him on here. So like seeing him play, I think that might have been the year he won. Um, and it was just cool, like to just go around and like watch those like other games going on and stuff.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
Dude, this
that'd be
subathon
great if
was
they did that this year, like
what?
or like just in the future, like if they had some big like EA event like that where like
They have
all
potential,
teams
I
were.
think. Like because they're signed with DreamHack, right? Like there's a big
Yeah,
DreamHack that happens, I think, in Montreal. I would suspect this year, if outsiders are allowed in, that this would probably be the most people from the community. It would just all be the people that get too ping that we we're not, you know what I mean? They'd all show up
yeah.
at, I would suspect it. And it's always more fun to have more people in attendance for it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. And if we even make it there at this point, man, guys are dropping like flies. Um, so dude,
Yeah,
I go
you're
to
talking about the subathon though.
dude, yeah. So the subathon, yeah, it's at 400. This is the first night that I am out of energy early.
Yeah,
So
you seem like it. I was worried about you texting you.
no, no, no.
Like I was just like, yeah,
As it goes along, it got down to like 20 hours last night, and some of the boys popped it up to like 64 again. And it was weird. Obviously, it's great. Like I'm happy, and it is done. Today, I got a follow from MLB Gaming, the official gaming account of the Major League Baseball, which pretty much puts the exclamation point or the final nail on everything that I wanted to have happen. Bro, I competed in my first ever MLB community
the
event.
G Fuel one, right?
Bro, I had the time of my life because I had no shot at winning, and I went in knowing, and I was just scared that I would embarrass myself because no one knows who I am really. Even the guys competing, some of them knew me by name, like a couple of them did, which I was extremely grateful for, and they were all so nice. And then obviously I knew like the G Fuel guys and whatnot, but I saw the bracket I was in. I was like, I'm just not gonna give up 10. That's it. Because that's what happens when you get mercied, right? And you can't even technically get mercied in a 3 inning game. It was just 3 inning games in the round robin. But I was like, I'm gonna make sure I don't lose by 10, and I'm gonna make that the gimmick the whole thing. So I played Cougs, who is an incredible player, and ScoMo as well, who's a really really big Madden guy too.
Mhm.
And then I played Graceful Swan, who is legitimately Polgs, who ended up winning. So first
Yeah.
game, all right. Again, whole goal not to lose by 10. Okay. I lose 9-0 to Graceful Swan. And I was ecstatic, and he found it funny. Like it was like I was like, "All right, guys!" Like I knew it was only gonna be more difficult. So the very next game, I knew Skoma wasn't as good as Graceful Swan. Still a very very good player, dude. Somehow I win 8-3. And I'm
Okay.
like, wow. I'm like, okay, no matter what happens now, I know I'm playing Cougs, who's like, again, one of the best players in the world. I was like, I mean, it used to be. I don't know what his stance is right now. I know that he can go 12-0 and he dominates World Series. And like, I was like, I just don't want to be 10-0 again, right, bro? The very first, second, I managed to hit a first inning home run. It's 2-0, and I managed to. You can't strike any of these guys out in the format because they're so good. I got crap contact they got all crap contact hits. I got bailed. Second inning on my second at bat, I managed to get someone on base, and I hit this absolute no doubt bomb. And it's on Twitter, and it was one of the most fun, like the most fun moments in I've had gaming, and I don't know how long because I was so stunned that it happened. I ended up winning 5-1, and I was like, I moved on out of the round robin phase, and then I lost 4-1 to again another one of the better players in MLB. So everything it couldn't have gone better. It was everything I
That's
wanted
awesome.
to do. Yeah, it was really. I'm really enjoying MLB, dude. I'm 420 hours in, right?
Yeah.
420 hours in. I'm still not done everything. Today I'm working on my creative player to try and get him all full diamond so that if I want, I haven't found a shortstop I like. So I literally made a shortstop with like the swing stance of Joey Votto, who I mash with, and I'm like, okay, and you can get them all diamond so that you have like a 99 overall player. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
sure. I'm spending 2 days doing that. I'm still not done, and I'm at 420 hours. I've done everything else other than that. I'm just like, man, it's so nice. Like
Do you think you've played the most hours of MLB
at
out of
anyone,
anybody in the world?
it's got to be
Right now?
close, man. It's got to be close because I sleep. I sleep now. I sleep about 8 hours a day. I have.
Yeah.
I feel like the first couple days of the subathon, I was like, oh, I can't be sleeping on it, right? Like I slept like 4 hours a night. Now I'm sleeping like a good 8 hours. I throw on Better Call Saul, and I just kind of zone out for a little.
Nice.
So good, and yeah. So but the subathon, I am blessed. I am a blessed boy. The fact that it has been going on for 18 days, and I've currently got another 42 hours on the clock. Insane. But this will be in the book. You know?
This will be. It's like I was thinking earlier. It's like that monkey paw thing. It's like you want to be a full-time Twitch streamer, and
Yep.
now you have it, but it's literally full-time,
Yeah,
and you
like
can
this
never
is a little
stop.
excessive. Yeah, like this would be like I would.
Yeah.
I will do it for every launch of the game. However, it will not be 6 minutes a sub because that is now clearly insanity because my community is way too generous. It will be 3 minutes, and
At this point next year, it might have to be like 2 minutes or a minute
dude, so a regular
because
subathon among guys that are like XQC, the ones who do real
yeah,
like the marketed ones, it's 10 seconds. And they're
yeah.
dude. So one of my favorite, I think I talked about this. One of my favorite streams, Pestily, 41 days, 10 seconds, dude. He got to number 7 all time in amount of subs, like the 89,000. Like
Yeah, you just have to continue the stream for another 2 years, and you could probably get there.
I'll be good, man.
Yeah,
But no, it's very humbling. I do not like gifts. I'm very awkward with it, and when people show me insane generosity, I don't really know how to reciprocate it, or and but nonetheless, it does look like it is slowing down, and something crazy on Saturday or Sunday, I legit leave to go to San Jose for the first time ever. I will be
Oh,
going.
you've never been there?
I have never been to San Jose. I've never watched a game. Never watched. I've watched about 30 Sharks games, all in other arenas. Never been to the
Yeah.
Shark Tank, and so I'm hosting the Shark Pacific Cup along with Grizz and Davos. They're coming as
And
well.
you guys are doing that from the arena,
Yeah,
right?
we're in. So we had a meeting today where we'll be in like the main penthouse suite. Like it's like the one that is directly in line with Center Ice
Okay.
and has the biggest opening. So we'll be doing that, man, and I'm amped up. I'm amped up for that. So because obviously I've never been to San Jose, I've never gotten to see a game live. That we'll be calling it during a game, and I'm hoping that it'll end before. I hope it ends before.
Yeah.
So I can just sit and just chill. But yeah, man, I'm so excited for that. But the subathon, I'm a man of my word, so if it's still going, I will pause it at 10 a.m. on the day that I fly, and I will go to work, come back, and the next morning at 10 a.m. I will resume, and we'll keep going. But I don't anticipate it going that long because that's just
It has to end at some
that's
point.
what I'm
Because
saying.
like, here's
Like,
the thing: I haven't talked to you in like a month,
yeah,
right? Like, really talked to
yeah.
you in a long time. I guess it's been the 18 days,
It's
give or take some time.
it's becoming like tonight is hard. I don't know why. I like I said, I think every day my gas tank gets a little bit like the top end where it fills up is just getting lower and lower. So even when I get full recharge, it's like at 50%, and I'm
Yeah.
super unhealthy. Like I cannot wait to go to the gym. This is probably the worst I've ever been, even before when I lost someone with the prior time. But I'm actually excited because I have an idea that however long my subathon goes, whether it's 21, 22, 30 days, I will be doing like a 2 a day, 1,700 calorie deficit with full 8 hours of sleep and making the health portion of my life the number one focus and YouTube and Twitch on the back end, which I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a really hard time with in the beginning. Making sure that those two things are like health wise is met first before working about streaming and making YouTube videos. We'll see how it goes, but I'm really excited for that. I haven't been amped to get back in the gym like this since the last time I did it like 3 years ago. So pretty pumped for that.
Yeah, man. You just need a break. You
It
need a break from this.
yeah, it's yeah.
But you accomplished like what I think you accomplished what you set out there to accomplish
Yeah, it's like I
easily.
said, easily, yeah. Like everyone, like that community event I got invited to, I thought was it. Like I was like, okay. And then today I got that follow from MLB Gaming, and I was just like, all right. Like they follow 160 people, so I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Like this was all exactly what I wanted to do, and I want to thank everyone. If there's anyone that is gifted bits or subs that's listening, you guys made that possible because if it didn't go as long and make as much noise as it did, then I wouldn't, have the be able to do the fall. Dude, I'm averaging more viewers than I did in NHL. That scares me, man.
I
It's
told you, man. So what would you do then in September?
so
MLB, you're averaging 400 viewers. Everything's taken off. You just go to NHL for a little bit.
dude, I think that it is the perfect like 6 month window, man. So
Yeah.
right when NHL launches, something called the Finest comes out, and that's team of the year, team of the season for MLB. And then it obviously dies out. It's not like MLB doesn't die. Like before launch, there was like 300 people in the directory, right? But I think it might work perfectly. And if that's the case, and I've got something, then I'll just keep going. I can't just stop making MLB content when NHL comes out though, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But it will be fun because now I need to. If I can branch into a second game and make it a thing, then I can branch into a third. And when I can do a third, I can go into five, and then I can wake up every morning. And that was the original goal I set 5 years ago when I started this like journey, was to wake up and play whatever game I wanted and live my life normally, right? So,
Yeah.
which is literally the
Definitely.
hardest thing to do on the platform. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so San Jose is gonna be fun. I'm excited for San Jose. Yeah, it'll be the $30,000 Sharks Pacific Cup finals. It'll be Olympia and against Prodigy, so that has like Pogues and all them in it. And the broadcast crew is getting flown out to do the broadcast live.
It's you, Grizz, and who else?
And Davos.
Okay.
But yeah, really looking forward to that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's something interesting.
Let's go.
So my wife and I were talking like the past couple weeks, and we started to look at houses in Florida.
Let's go,
We
man!
have
I
like
love this, dude. Skylar, look.
I know, because like I saw her tweet at you today, like a little Florida keychain.
Yeah,
But we kind of have this like, it's not like an actual set goal,
yeah.
but it was like if we moved anywhere.
That's where it'd be.
I see Tyler in the chat, like,
Yeah,
let's
he's
go,
from
what
Keso.
city?
He's from there.
Yeah, yeah. So her aunt wants to move there, and her brother wants to move there. So like it'd be nice to move there with people you know. And my requirement was like, I don't want to be in an area where it's like hit by hurricanes every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was looking up some of the safer
eastern
areas,
ones.
and then like it said
Tampa.
Kissimmee,
Yep.
which is like close to Orlando, which I think would be really nice.
Orlando and Tampa in between there is where I would, whereas like my like strong like place I'm gonna
Dude,
look, so.
and the houses we were looking at, like 350 or like 400,000,
Dude,
you get
it's
like a really
nuts.
nice house. Dude, this one was like, it was like 4 bedrooms or something, but like it had this really nice indoor pool. Like it was just cool as hell. And I'm like, okay, we can do that. I can work from home forever.
Yep.
Like, we never have to worry about the snow again.
Dude.
No state income tax.
Yep.
Like, which depending on where I work, like that'll just be a little extra money in my pocket. Like,
No,
just
absolutely.
it sounds ideal, man.
It's funny because everyone like craps on Florida, but I think once you get older, you start to realize that like, dude, there isn't many places. If again, you can't live in certain places in Florida, but once you get your adult job and you're like, okay, I don't gotta pay tax here. Okay, all right, that's
Yeah.
not bad. Houses are extremely affordable when you consider Southern Ontario and like New York State and all like or the eastern side of the states. Like it's very very desirable. So I went to Orlando for the lighting event, and Kevin from Rare Drop was driving me around, and we were talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, love it." Like it's so. We'll see. That's funny though, because yeah, my wife just tweeted. She was googling how to become like you have to get an immigration lawyer, all that.
Yeah.
Not hard though, because I do get paid by YouTube and Twitch, American companies. I can get my visa very very quickly, and then I would be her sponsor. So,
Yeah.
maybe the goal is by the time I'm 35, so 2025. If I can make that
dude,
happen.
It'd be nice.
Could you imagine?
I know, right?
That would be so funny. Like,
Wouldn't it?
we retired from Chel.
We were talking about like especially like we'll probably have like a few kids. We can get like season tickets to Disney and shit. Just like
Oh, dude.
go whenever. Which I know, like I think the adult thing is to like hate Disney World, but like there's also those weird people like
Love
me that
it.
like it.
Nah,
But
dude.
yeah, man, it'd be fun and I'm looking outside, like not right now because it's dark out, but like, dude, it was raining here all day. Not that it doesn't rain in Florida, but like it was cold, and
Dude.
just never have to shovel snow again in your life.
I haven't gone outside in a couple days, just unfortunately, right? I go my
Yeah.
back door for a second to get some fresh air, and I was like, it's snowing. And I'm like, what in the... I mean, it was enough to be on the ground, and my backyard was wet. And I looked up at the sky, and I'm like, what in the world? I was just like, my
Yeah.
goodness, dude. All right.
Somebody just said the podcast would be done live in the same room.
To imagine, we would just have scotch.
Who even knows if I'll still be like obviously you will. This is your career, but who even knows if I would by that time? But if I do, and this thing is
you got the
I'm
itch,
still
man.
enjoying this, that would be fun.
You got the itch, man. It's just every time NHL comes back around, like it'll die. Like you're gonna have no interest at all after GWC, other than the podcast. And then the new game will come out, and you'll be like, "All right, these are the videos I got to make. Here's the times I get straight," and then it just all kicks back in. And obviously, you're gonna have a +1 in your home. Did we announce like all that on the podcast last week?
Oh yeah, we talked about.
No, you found out. You
I don't
found
even
out if it was a
know.
boy
Yeah,
or girl.
I'm having a baby girl.
Yes,
I
excellent.
can't wait, dude. I'm very excited.
That's gonna be dope, man.
We started buying so we're gonna do a Winnie the Pooh themed nursery.
Okay.
So we didn't buy that furniture yet and stuff, but we started picking some out. But we were at the bookstore the other day, looking at like books and stuff, and like I like being able to see like I forget the book I bought her. It was like Fearsome Tales for Little Girls. Like it was like I don't know if that sounds kind of scary. It was about like girls that like do badass things,
Okay.
Like it's not like the typical like princess or like rescuing
That's
Rapunzel.
cool.
So we bought that. We got some clothes and stuff. Like I have like what is it? There's like a fantasy football legend or something, little like baby outfit. Like,
That's
that's
dope.
#1 pick. Like, dude, I'm excited.
That's awesome, buddy. You're gonna be a.
She'll be here
phenomenal-
for football season. Like,
Yes,
she'll
she
be here.
will.
Yeah, our delivery date or whatever date is like August 28th. So a weekend or two
Dang.
later, she'll be right next to me, watching week 1. I'll have money on DraftKings on the games. She'll be rooting with me.
That's her college tuition. That's right. We're gonna try and make it. So I made a video on NHL today or yesterday. Newsflash: there's not much content to cover anymore in NHL, which is normal. Like every sports game, we're at the end. So usually this is where I start going over like what I would like to change or what I would like to see changed or flaws or theme teams, stuff like that. So while Subathon was going on, I asked chat like if I should talk about things I'd like to see changed, and I have to go about this much more carefully after what happened with the whole AP nonsense. So I want to make this very clear for anyone listening that didn't watch the video. I started off with Hut Rush. I was like, let's change Hut Rush, okay? And I said that this isn't. I was like, I want feedback on it, and because I won't give my recommendations for Hot Rush and things like that unless I get a solid amount of feedback stating that what you're saying is actually accurate. Because if not, then I'm not gonna. Yeah, I just really, after the whole AP thing where I got flamed, like it's just. My interest in providing feedback has gone far down because now it impacts me, not just financially, but like my business. It impacts my business. If I give my feedback and EA uses it, that impacts my business now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Hot Rush real quick. So here were my 5 things that I want to change. I had 5 things, okay? I want to hear if you agree with all of them, okay? 1 is the reward path. It leads to a guaranteed card at the end. So instead of like a power-up collectible, which I can't stand anyways, at the end of you completing the reward path, there is an event card that you can only earn by completing that Hot Rush reward. And what would be cool is if it was a master item, like a master card art. I don't know if that would like take an insane amount of resources for the graphic designer to come up with one more card, but that would be sweet. So you grind out 3 million points. And you get this 80. So let's say I use the example of 90 overalls, the master items at launch, right? Mm-hmm. 88 would be the card that you get given.
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, it's not. It could even be 90. It could even be 90, regardless. And I think it should be a defenseman, goalie, and a forward, a choice pack. Maybe that's asking for too much because the one downfall is that if it is one card, everyone will have those like 6 cards or whatever, and I like the fact that they give us lots of choices now. The next thing, I want a shootout mode inside of it. I want to shoot
inside of Hot Rush. Right?
Yes, I think that it is mind-boggling to me that a mode that is designed to be able to play for fun in a very short amount of time does not have a shootout mode. Yet the only competitive mode that we have to play the game, we have to play it in overtime, which no one likes. So if you want to give us the shootout, the shootout stuff in Rivals, get that out of Rivals and give us our own dedicated shootout mode inside of Hot Rush that resets and whatnot every 2 weeks. Now, there will be objectives like there is right now. You know how it's like make 50 passes and you get 40,000 XP, right? Well, instead, those 40,000 XP still goes to the reward path. But if you complete all of the shootout challenges, and it could be like 50 wins, right? It could be... like something like that. 50 wins is probably something in 2 weeks in a shootout. No matter your skill level,
you can do that.
You can do that. You just got to play more.
Mostly luck, yeah.
And it takes like 6 minutes to do a shootout, if that.
Yeah.
You get a guaranteed card. So I gave the example of like an 86 Yuri Letnin, that had 99 deking, and that is rewarded for you completing Hot Rush or completing the shootout mode of Hot Rush. The next thing was draft master set players. So anytime that there's a time where you've got to draft a team and it's like 5v5 or 6v6 or 3v3, you can only draft. The draft is no longer CHLers or random silvers or base cards. Enough of that. Give us the master set cards that are out because then at least we can try them out. And that will drive people into Hot Rush no matter what. This doesn't even need this could be tied into I don't know, but or anything, but any mode that any needs to have master sets as the draft. Number 4 is a gimmick mode. So instead of just mascots, which you can still have they could be included every couple weeks, sure, like in a rotation. I want a week where it is all players above 6 foot that have truculence, and the goal is not to win. Well, it could be to win. You get bonus for winning. But it is get 500 hits. So that means...
with how Hot Rush is, I'm assuming they could just tweak the points given. I know it wouldn't be for wins, but a hit could be worth 1,000 points instead of typically it's worth 100.
Exactly, and I think that these are all things I want to mention that I think that are in the realm of possibilities of actually being able to be done. I'm trying to give it with the game changer glasses where I know I'm not going to be come out with we're going to get everything is supposed to be exactly like MLB, it won't be like that. But these are things that I think realistically could change. I think that would be fun. So let's say you got a truculence event on normal ice. The next week could be 3-on-3. Everyone's under 6 foot, has wheels, and it's on international ice. And you know what I mean, and the goal, and it's a score, get the 10 or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
Something like that. Another really fun one. Again, these could be rotated in because if you split it up too much, it's not going to happen because there's not enough of a player base. But imagine a mode where or a play style where it's 5v5. It's you start with the draft choices. This would be the best way to do the draft master set. So you draft your master set players, right? Every time you score with one, that player comes off the ice. And the goal is to win, get first person to 5 goals. So you
Oh,
score,
that's really
that
cool.
right wing comes off the ice. You score again, that
Yeah.
center comes off the ice, and now it's 5v3. And I just think that, like, did the
And it
content,
goes down to like if you score 4 goals before your opponent, you have one guy on the ice.
yeah, versus 5, and and now you've got to try and survive while they come back. Like, the content to try and 5-0 somebody would be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a ton of fun too. Like
Yeah.
that would actually be fun.
Yes. That's
Because
like
like
the
worst
point.
case scenario, it's like whenever you do that, chances are it's gonna be like 4-1 within 5 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you'll score early and like, okay, now you're down a guy. And
Yeah.
like even if you're a bad like you're not a great player and you're playing someone really good, it's still gonna be very difficult to score 5v1.
Mhm.
Like, I just think that'd be really cool. I don't think they have it in the capacity or the tech to get down under 3 though. I
I
really
don't think so, and it's also like would they have to reprogram certain things for how they would
exactly.
act
That would never
for
happen,
that?
and but it would be a pipe dream. But I just thought that was a really, really cool. Someone in chat mentioned it, so that would just be a really, really cool idea to add to Hot Rush. But I think if they did those things, man, I would play Hot Rush every week. I'd play it.
That'd be
I
fun.
would play it every time that there's an event, not just to grind, but to the stupidity of like an all truculence event or the Survivor Series style. Like I would, or shootouts,
Is that what it would be called? Survivor
Survivor
Series? Like would there
Series.
be or like Man Down or something? Like the
Yeah,
Survivor Series might be trademarked by wrestling.
probably. Yeah, Survivor Series probably would be, but like yeah, like
Yeah.
it'd just be. Man, it would just be so much fun, and I think Hot Rush has a. I think the rewards tree, like the reward path, is super cool that's in Hut. That's in Hut. The rewards are just bunk. Like you don't want them,
Yeah.
right? But I think that if you give that guarantee reward at the end, you're gonna get a lot of people in Hot Rush. And again, if you make the rewards more fun, I just it's very cookie cutter. Like clearly, it's designed to be very cookie cutter. And we'll have to see. But that was mine on the last thing and probably the most important. So I think you were a game changer when Hut Rush was around. Did it? That was your first game, right?
That was my first year, so I remember joining in like the summer, and people were talking about it, and I was like, "What the hell is this Hut Rush thing?"
Okay, okay. So I remember it being kind of described as a way to bridge EASHL players over into Hut. It's very ESHL. It has a very ESHL look to it. I think there's outdoor rinks and stuff, or there was, and
Yeah.
like, it seems like that. Imagine you could invite your buddies, and your buddies work toward their XP path in Hut Rush. So we get a team of 6, and we line up for Survivor Series. And your boys are with like it's your six buddies. There's a human goalie, like, and you're playing Hut Rush. That would be a blast. Or even if you're not, like, let's say you're doing shootout mode. You got 5 buddies with you. Each one of your buddies takes a shot. Like, how that isn't in the game is mind-boggling. If its goal was to try and bridge those ESHL players into Hut, the ability to actually play with your buddies. Like if it's 3v3,
Yeah.
have a 3 team. Like, dude, that would be a blast on Friday nights if you got your boys together or whatever, and like you just had to it's just nonsense. Like that's what it'd be. It would be utter nonsense. It wouldn't be sweating, and even if it was, it's way more fun to try and beat a guy who's trying his heart out with 6 of your friends, right?
Yeah. I would just want to try to 5-0 somebody in that Survivor Series.
Same,
That
like
sounds
that's
fun,
it, yo. 5-0, like that's the ultimate, right?
Like that's the ultimate. Like you suck at the game. Send that message after.
You got 5-0'd. Like,
Yeah.
1v5. Oh, I like if you were against anyone that was a Division 3 and above, how hard do you think that would be?
Incredibly hard,
Yeah,
especially with like how the game is now. I would say like NHL like 08, 09, like those years you could probably do it because the game was so arcadey.
and there's no
Now
time and
it'd be like
space. Like, there's,
even like Division 7 and above, like it'd still be really hard to like 5-0 somebody.
I think so, man. Imagine there was an achievement for it, and you got like custom jerseys if you ever 5-0'd someone.
Yeah, or like a player or something. But I guess they'd also have to be worried about like win trading or something.
Yeah,
Like
I
for
guess
that,
that's
like you
true.
get matched up. But yeah, that'd be fun.
It'd be so much fun, dude. Like
Because like I haven't touched Hut Rush all year except maybe like the first
first week when you like, oh, I gotta
Yeah,
grind out all the rewards for every single mode, and then it's like I'm never doing this again.
yeah.
Yeah, I just think that those 5 or 6 changes to Hot Rush would make it just I don't want to say a perfect mode, but pretty close. Like I don't know what else you could add to it. Do you have anything else that you think that you'd rather see in
No,
Hot
because
Rush?
we've talked about it a lot with like the truculence event. Like I want to see longer term milestones from Hut Rush. Because like right now it's all based on a 2 week one, like a 2 week
Mm-hmm.
window. So whatever those are, right? So like I know some of them are like score the one handed deeks. Like I would love to see like long term ones, like score 100 of those and get like a Forsberg, or do like whatever other deek,
I
like
think
if
that
it's
that
tailored to a
yeah,
player.
you have to be careful with that because the community's not big enough. Like I'll use MLB as an example. Like there's like missions in battle royale where it's like get 5 hits or get a certain amount of XP with certain cards that are drafted, and it's so hard to match up with your buddy because it's cross console and everything like that.
Hmm.
I don't know if it guarantee rewards for that, but it would be cool if you got like power up collectibles or maybe not an X Factor
I
choice
don't
band.
even think like the cards you get have to be
It could just,
amazing,
dude. It could
right?
just be jerseys or something to flex. Like imagine,
I don't
okay,
know.
imagine this.
Like,
Imagine you got to 500 shootout wins, golden stick.
I mean, for me, that's not like,
I
I
don't know,
don't
but
really
no,
care
but
for
that
me.
that would be that
Yeah.
would give you. No, it's not enough to move the needle, but you would want that golden stick.
It's something that should be in the game that isn't, I
Yeah,
think.
like same
Like
thing.
stuff like
Like
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like MLB does it great with like bats. There's like 100 of them, and you can get different kinds. Like you can get one with the cats with lasers on it and stuff by doing like a
Yeah.
certain event. Like that should be for sure in the
Well, you
game.
got to watch out because then you get the people that come in like that's not real hockey and stuff,
I guess
Like
that's true,
I'm
but
sure
Hut
there's
Rush
some of
shouldn't
those
be.
in baseball
I
where it's like, oh,
guess.
that's not real baseball. Like I've played the game a little bit. If there's like a bat with like laser eyes, like people are probably like, Mickey Mantle wouldn't use this bat.
I don't see that a lot. I guess maybe I don't
Okay.
know,
Oh, maybe
but
the community is different then.
yeah,
I
it
think
might
there's a
be.
lot more purists and that
There
play
is
hockey
for sure.
compared to people that play the baseball game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be fun. I would like that. I mean, they used to have like, I mean, I know it wasn't in Hut Rush, but they used to have like the banners and stuff in your arena that you like
Mm.
saved for getting like a playoff championship.
Yeah. Exactly.
I would like to see more stuff carry over for the player, like more like flex items. You like to say,
Yeah. I think that would
yeah,
be really cool. Like banners that you hang from like like from in your arena and stuff. Like
yeah,
you
of
get
course,
that like you get top 20 in Hut champs.
yep.
What's the next
They
thing we
should
should
have that.
talk about? Like what's the next like mode we should
Oh,
cover?
the next mode we should
Oh no
cover.
no 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 sorry.
Are we gonna do this week? What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh no, do you want to do this weekly? Want to do like a different
Yeah, we could do a different mode every
aspect
week.
weekly?
Yeah.
All right, next week,
Let's fix
there's like
rivals.
3 modes.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
want to
fix
fix rivals or
rivals.
squad battles?
Well, let's fix squad battles because
All
I've
right.
actually like written a lot to the devs this year about squad battles.
Oh,
So
excellent. I'm kind of curious to hear
yeah,
about that. All right. All right. I wrote
yeah,
down
but
here, yo. Yesterday, I wrote down something that I think that we should do every week, where we pick a different topic and give
well,
our
this is
favorite
what I was
things.
going to bring up
Yep.
the albums,
Yep.
right?
3 favorite
This is actually what
albums.
I was about. Yeah, 3 favorite albums. So I thought about it.
Okay.
So all right, how do you want to do this? Who's first?
You could go first. Name. Okay. Give us like parameters of what you
Oh,
determined
of
to be.
course. Yeah, I put thought into this. I was taking a shower earlier today, and I'm like, oh yeah, we have to talk about that. Um, so I'll go with my 3 albums. So number one, I am gonna go with Blink 182's Untitled album, the one that
Okay.
came out in 2003.
Okay.
Had like feeling this on this, I miss you or whatever,
Yep.
which obviously gets overplayed. Um, and then the parameters of it, I think that like early 2000s to mid 2000s, like that pop punk era, was great because like it came right after, and you're older, so you remember this, like that late 90s, like wrestling was really big and
Yep.
like Limp Bizkit and
A lot
Corn,
of that
and
stuff.
there was
Yeah.
this, yeah, and there was this like hyper masculine like just like stuff,
Yep.
right? And it was like just
Rolling.
like it was just garbage. It was like this
Yeah.
alpha male garbage that there wasn't like a lot of thought and like art behind it.
Let's go one
And it
for
was
one. By the
very
way, sorry to interrupt.
okay.
Let's go
Yeah,
one for one. You give one, then I'll give
yeah,
one. So go ahead.
yeah. So I think that album, like they had done, like they had Take Off Your Pants and Jacket before that. They had Enema of the State, um, and that was like their like that changed like how that music genre was like made because like after that you had like Good Charlotte that kind of tried to be like them, and you had so many bands that tried to be like them, and that was like that album to me is I think like the best of that type of music. um but I could go on and on
Why?
about
So like,
Blink
okay,
One Eighty
so
Two.
what made you think of that? Like, give because like how so I talked about this on stream too. One of like the deep talks I've had during my subathon at night. Someone asked me a question while I was flying back from the Dominican. On Twitter, is like, "What's your favorite song?" And I was like trying to determine like what would be what. How do you determine what your favorite songs are? And how I came about this was like they have to be tied to a moment.
Yeah,
Like it has to, because if you just like a song, you'll play it over and over again and then it'll be forgotten about. And you'll get sick of it, right? Like that's happened to like but there's gotta be a few songs, and same thing with albums. So I'm gonna give we grew up in like the last or well, I guess right in the middle of like CDs and Walkmans. So like I feel like
yeah.
albums now, like an album drops, you binge it, right? But then it's really you just
Mhm.
listen to the singles. Like for the most part, for people that aren't obsessed with an artist, let's say like if you're not obsessed with Kanye, okay, Kanye's
Yeah,
album drops, you listen to whatever like the most popular ones are, or someone drops a bunch of singles and then it's like an album comes out, like MGK, like I'll do that, but like so like I think that albums back in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s when like CDs were still like really pop at their height of their popularity, which is crazy to think about. We literally listened to CDs at the height of their popularity,
yeah.
and it only lasted like man, like cassettes and like whatnot, like went from like 98 to like or like up until 98, and then like CDs
Up until like '98. Yeah.
were like 99 to like then I remember like I got my first MP3 player when I was 14, which is like 2004. So like
Hmm.
CDs were only around for like 5 years, and where it was like, you know, they were around for like a decade, but like still like weren't huge. Um, so during that period of time did you binge the album all the time? Do you have the CD? Like,
No, so whenever that album came out, I was like 9 years old, right? So I really wasn't listening to them. I remember being like 6 or 7, hearing like all the small things on the radio, and like as a little kid,
I'm so
you like the
sorry.
music. Yeah, exactly. Like, so you like the music, and then like I think everybody in high school at some point, like some dude gets in the Blink 182 because it's like they were cool, but they also like explained feelings, and like you
Yeah.
understood like where they were, or like you know that music spoke to you, especially as like an awkward like teenager, right? Like a lot of like guys that are just like, oh, these people kind of get me. Like, how do I talk to a girl or something, or like making fun of things, right? So like I got into them heavy in high school, and then you know, I think, like I said, I think it just speaks to like a lot of people in high school. Whenever you,
I guess that's true.
uh,
Like that
yeah,
genre.
yeah, that genre of music. And then as I got older, like my wife really likes them, so that's like one of the bands that we can listen to. Like we can put on any song, and listen to Blink 182, right? But then it's like I like a lot of their other projects they've done, but I think that album specifically, I think that's their best one, just because it's like I can listen to that as an adult and enjoy it because it's more mature themes compared to like if I listen to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, like I'm just it's like made for like 16-year-olds.
It so when you talked about like remembering like why that album was like one of your favorites,
Yeah.
it immediately made me think back like I never liked Blink 182, and I thought they were like too old. Like they like it's like when was that? Can you see when that album was made?
It was 2003, I
Which
believe.
is crazy because like when I think back to that era, I was obsessed with "Does This Look Infected" by Sum 41. And like I
Okay.
feel like those two bands were very very closely tied together.
They
Like
were, because they were right around the same time, right?
exactly, yeah, and
Because
like
like some 41, did they have like that all killer no filler or something? Was that them?
yep, All Killer No Filler. That was like one of their
Yeah.
first albums, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Does This Look Infected? Thinking about it now, I think that if I have to think about it, it's not one of my favorite albums. I think that if you were to do this like exercise, it has to be like they have to come to you. If you have to think about it too much, I don't think it's your favorite album.
Yeah, for
So like
sure.
it has the Hell song, which I absolutely love. Still Waiting, Over My Head, like has some of like the best songs from like that era. But I will go with Mesmerized by System of a Down. I think that
Okay.
from start to finish, you have to really like Serge Tankian's voice because it's not for everybody. And some of the songs are just absolutely way out there in terms of like lyrics and just. But I think BYOB is like one of the anthems of like that era of like rock. I think of it like there's no way not to listen to that, or there's no way to listen to that song and not be fired up, ready to run through a wall. And I remember buying that album, and it was it was when San Andreas came out. I was in grade 9, and I would go and stay at my mom's house when she lived in the States. My parents split up, and I would go and stay, and obviously I didn't have any friends there because I didn't go to school there. So I would just bring my big, huge Xbox, like original Xbox, and play San Andreas. And they had a feature where you could put a CD in, and then you can go to the radio station, and it was like whatever was that you had downloaded to your console. So I would just listen to Mesmerize while grinding San Andreas whenever I
That's
was in it.
awesome.
And like that's like one of my, and then not to mention like I learned like everyone learns like 4 songs on a guitar. And like my one buddy
Yeah.
was like a really good drummer, really good musician, had a pretty semi-successful band that like made it to Much Music's a show on Much Music, which is basically MTV Canadian version. But anyways, so yeah, Mesmerize is one of my top 3. It's not my number 1, but it is definitely in my top 3. I listen to it on stream from start to finish. I love every song. All right, so let's hear your number 2.
Number 2, I have to go My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye. So that came out the end of 2009, I believe, going into 2010. And I just remember being over at my friend's house. We were playing like Call of Duty or something. And then I just remember like listening to that album like repeatedly. And I'm the biggest Kanye fan in the world. Like I still love him. I don't care what goes on. Um, and that to me is the best album of all time. I don't know if it's my favorite, but like just sonically, everything going on in the album is just like flawless. It was like he went out and he was like, "I'm gonna make the greatest album ever. Every single song is gonna be perfect," and it was. Like I love the album. I
I,
could listen to it every day.
I wonder if like I have like psychologically a thing where I don't like what everyone likes because I've never been big into Kanye. And I like every genre of music. Like
So, but if that was the case, right? Like, there's a lot of people that hate him.
not when what's the second album?
Late
Graduation.
registration. Graduation's the third.
Third, when
So late
Graduation came
registration.
out, there was no one that disliked Kanye.
You're right because that was stronger. So like he
Yeah,
was at
the
some of the
peak.
peak of his popularity,
Yeah,
right?
like I liked a lot of those songs, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I did not like, and maybe I didn't like that kind of rap. I've been someone who like I love top 40 because I like something that has a really good verse and a really good like beat, and it could be country, it could be screamo, it could be EDM. It does not matter. Like as long as it has a good beat and a chorus, like I love it. So Kanye stuff is like uh, lyrically, I don't really care a ton about lyrics. Like my buddy, like I have a few friends like that are really big into music that they listen to the lyrics and the lyrics like speak to them, I guess, or like you know what that
Yeah.
kind of hits home. I very rarely pay attention to the lyrics. I really just pay attention to like the sound, which is I guess
Okay.
weird. I don't know, but all right. So I am I'm having a hard time with number 2 because it's one of two, and I know one of them. It's because when you said Call of Duty, immediately I was like, what was in my boombox when I was grinding Halo 3 with my friends?
Yeah.
And an album came out in the middle of it. So Disturbed was my favorite band and
Oh
probably
wow.
still is. Yeah, it's probably still is my favorite band.
Yeah.
And 10,000 Fists is like there is not a bad song on that album and some of their best songs ever, but Indestructible came out and still very good, but I think that there are songs that are weaker and some that are among their best. In 10,000 Fists, I don't think there is a weaker song.
Okay.
So I will say it's 10,000 Fists. Again, like I remember just because I think Indestructible. The thing about Indestructible is I remember one of the last. I was in grade 12.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Kyle, we had already been accepted to college, and we skipped our second uh, half of classes. And Disturbed came out. We met my buddy who went to another school, and we ended up going to concerts and like with them all the time. But we went to HMV and or Sunrise before it closed down. Sunrise Records, it closed down. We bought this album and we drove around in my '94 Plymouth Sundance, and we listened to the whole album like 3 times. And that's part of me why I want to say it's my favorite because I have such a distinct memory of listening to it.
Uh-huh.
But it's 10,000 Fists. Like I'm just looking over the songs. 10,000 Fists would be in my top 3 for sure.
I liked them a lot whenever I was younger. I did see them on right around that time period when Indestructible came out. They were touring with Slipknot.
Yep.
For I forget what tour it was. Um and I
Darien
saw
Lake
both of
and
them.
at or no, sorry, Darien Lake. What's in Ohio? Is it Darien Lake?
Oh dude, I have no idea.
Oh man, what is the someone's in chat here? What is the big venue that is where tons of bands play in Ohio? Anyway, sorry, continue. Yeah, like
Oh
you,
yeah, dude, that tour though. I remember I went for Disturbed,
yeah.
because I like them, and then I was like, I'm not too big into Slipknot, and I saw Slipknot and ended up loving Slipknot like way more. Like I think their first three albums, even like their fourth one, what was that? All Hope Is Gone, was good, but like I ended up being like, okay, I love Slipknot now. Like after seeing them live, but dude, I like Disturbed's. Was it the first album? What was the one with?
Believe, and down with the sickness is a little too heavy for me. But Believe is the album that everyone forgets about, and
Okay,
it was one like I liked it more than any of my friends that were obsessed with Disturbed too. I don't think it's Six Flags. Maybe it is Six Flags. I don't. There's a venue and I just can't remember what it is for some reason. Dude, my third album. This is way too hard. I know. I mean, it's still.
I don't think
I've got
I
my
don't think this
19th
is like
energy.
a
If you can go
I don't
five,
think
I can
this
go
is like
five.
a three. Like, because even though I'm saying these albums, dude, there's like 50 that I love.
Yeah.
Because like you said earlier, like how do you decide your favorite song? And it's like you're always connected to a moment, and there's probably like 100 songs like I love that it's like at any moment they could be my favorite song,
I, th- I, th-
right?
yeah, I think with an album, it's like again, I don't think it can happen anymore. Like I don't think like because it's so single heavy. Like you don't really release an album anymore. You release a single.
Some of the I don't know. I don't so I'm big into music.
Yeah.
Like I like following it and stuff. And I think like not that I'm saying you're wrong because I
Mm-hmm.
think like more people paid attention to albums 15 years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like if you wanted the single, like you had to buy the CD, right? Like
Yeah.
if you wanted
That's
like
it.
Britney
Yeah.
Spears, like hit me
Yeah.
baby one more
Yeah.
time, like you're buying her CD, which is like a random example I used. But like now, um,
We
like
have to
because you
go
can just
five.
pick and choose,
We have to
right?
go
You can
five.
pick and choose. We have to go
We have
five.
to go five. So name your
All
third.
right. My third one, I'm gonna go Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
So I remember I was one of the first, I think I was the first person to listen to him in high school. Because like I found like I was on like, dude, I was the biggest nerd in high school. So like on like rap message boards and stuff, right? Like, and I remember like downloading the Overly Dedicated mixtape he had. Like it was like a couple years before um like Good Kid, Mad City came out. I loved him, and then like he was coming out with an album. It was my like sophomore year of high school, I believe, or sophomore year of college. That came out, and I was like, I have to have a Kendrick Lamar album on this, and so I'm gonna go with the first one because it's like I remember when that came out, I was in between like classes in college, and like my roommate left, so I closed the door, I locked the door, shut the lights off, laid down, and listened to the album, and he might be like my favorite rapper besides Kanye, so there's an album of his. I'm gonna go with the first one.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I number three for me will be why can't I think of the name of it? One second. I always mix up the two names. It is not Carolina. It's Chief. It's Chief by Eric Church. So this is the first album that I think a lot of guys go through this, where they are shunned by their boys for liking country music, and then you get to an age where you're like, man, this kind of slaps, and then you're like, okay, this hits me right in the feels, and then you just like
Yeah.
country. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, given by what the albums that you've given, I don't know if you can stand country music, and I don't really blame you
Uh,
for not, but.
I don't mind some of it. I don't listen to it.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, it is like is definitely one of my favorite genres. But again, it's very easy to have a good verse or a good chorus and a good beat to a country song. I also love acoustic. I love the sound of acoustic.
Yeah.
So I will go with Chief. It is. I remember my mom she has been obsessed with country music her whole life, and I just was always like, this is so lame. Every time that she would like play a CD in her boombox or whatever, and I was like hanging out. She convinced me to go to an Eric Church concert at Darien Lake, and she was going through a pretty hard time, and we hadn't seen each other very much. She'd actually gotten stuck in the United States. My ex stepdad, like a big falling out, they got divorced, and she got stuck there. So it was really rough on her, and we didn't talk a lot. And she got tickets to this Eric Church concert at Darien Lake, and we went, and we had a really, really good time. But then there's a specific song on that album called "Homeboy," which is like probably his most famous song, and it just started pissing and thunderstorming, and we weren't in under the pavilion, And so we just decided we're just rocking out to it, right, with a couple of my friends, and there ended up being in the lawn of Darien Lake. It's a disaster, right? It is an absolute mess. So you get a little bit of rain there, and it's just pure mud. Dude, they made this mudslide. The pouring rain thundered. Me and my mom slide down this huge mud. Like, it was just one of the most fun nights I've had. That was like, with my mom, that I can think that I can probably the most fun I've ever had with my mom. So that is definitely in my top five because yeah, all of the songs on that, especially Homeboy, and it's the first really country artist that made me like country. So number four,
I'll have to check it out. Number four, I don't care if nobody listens to this group. The Mountain Goats, The Sunset Tree. So the album is The Sunset Tree.
do they have a
I
single that
have
like someone would know?
No Children. It actually got pretty big on TikTok like a year ago.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
TikTok,
yeah.
so maybe I've heard
Yeah,
that.
it
Okay.
got really big on TikTok. So I listened. I didn't get into them until I was an adult, without getting too deep on this podcast, which we do sometimes, I
Yeah.
guess. The album is about like a kid. Like he obviously he's an adult now, but he's talking about his like relationship with his stepfather. So I come from like a shitty broken home.
Yep.
So it's like hearing all these things as an adult, relating to the music. I'd never heard anybody talk about these types of things before in music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like there was some songs where it's like that was my childhood. Like this is like everything I was
Oh,
feeling.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like I have to go. That whole album's about that. So like it's just a great album. So I'll go with that one. I'll save a more popular one for the number five.
Say
But
that
yeah.
again though. Like, what was it?
Oh here. So the Mountain Goats is the band,
The
and then the album
Mountain
is this.
Goats.
Yeah, the Sunset Tree.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
This is really hard now because now we're down to two, and I will go with So when I'm trying to think of like moments in life, right? Because again, that's how I think that you determine music. I think that if it makes you reminds you of something, there's usually a song that you hear that listen to it, and when you're doing an album, it has to be multiple songs from the same album that like make you do it. So when I lost all of my weight and I got down to the healthiest I've been, right around my wedding, and I decided to be a content creator in like 2017. I listened for whatever reason this one album, and the song and how I found them is because it's from NHL. And now, if you played Legend by the Score, you would hate it. But with the first time that you heard it in NHL 18, it was incredible, and it just got super overplayed. But the actual album called Atlas is an banger from start to finish, and that was I literally listened to every song from that album, whether it was morning cardio or when I had to do weights or when I was in CrossFit.
Who
Like
is this album by?
it's called Atlas, and Legend. If you played it right now, you'd be like, oh my god, I can't. Like it is probably one of it's High Hopes. It's like it's that pot.
Oh,
Yeah, Legend
wait. Do
is
they have high hopes?
no, that's Panic at the Disco.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
So my issue is I always turn off the soundtrack like the
Ye-
first whenever I first log into
so
the
do
game.
I, but it was the sound, the hype track to like when promos of the game came out. Everyone listening that plays NHL knows exactly the song, I guarantee you. But the actual album from that was pretty incredible. So that would be Atlas by it's Atlas by The Score. That is the album. All right,
Okay.
you're on number five. This is where it gets
All right,
hard.
number five. I have to go with the Taylor Swift album, and I'm gonna go Folklore, one of the
Why?
newer ones. So first off, I love Taylor Swift. My wife got me into Taylor Swift
Oh, no shame.
in college. Yeah, yeah, she's
Okay.
great. She's
Yeah.
great. I started to like her during like 1989, like the one after. I think that was after the Red album. So 1989 was a great album. But 2 years ago, we moved into our house here,
Mm-hmm.
and we were broke after we moved in because like I remember I sold like Bitcoin and stuff. We bought our new house. We were like, we got to get out of where we're living. Um, and then like a month maybe after we moved in here, that album came out like I think it was a surprise release on like YouTube, and it was like midnight, and we stayed up all night listening to that album, with like next to no furniture and shit. And the album still like I love it. I can listen to every single song on it. So I'm gonna go number five
That's
with that.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Respect. Um, yeah. So I was trying to figure out like my wife is obsessed with Fall Out Boy, and I like Fall Out Boy a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was trying to think of something that would remind me of my wife, because I feel like that's something you should do. But it's I love Fall Out Boy, but there isn't a full album where I listen. There's a lot that can go here. Like there is a lot that I could go here. Like Heist by Macklemore is a close. Thrift Shop, that's the one with Thrift Shop on it.
You and I have opposite music
Oh, for
tastes.
sure, I'm sure, man.
Besides probably our love for late 90s and early to mid 2000s like
Yeah,
rock,
yeah,
which I think you and I probably align a lot on.
yeah.
Outside of that, we're like
hmm
on different worlds,
Like
which is great.
Heist by Macklemore was in there, but now I'm just looking at it, and again, I think that if you have to look for it, it's not. But like if you see the album and you know every song and you like it,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with went through my first like real breakup when I was like 19. It's tough, I had to did it myself. I secluded myself from my friends, all that, and I would just go do cardio and I would go to the gym. I wasn't heavy into the gym, but I would just go alone and then my wife ended up really liking them, and I actually went and saw them in concerts. The only time I think one of the only times we ever got a concert together. Masterpiece Theater by Marianas Trench is my number 5. I love every single song, and Masterpiece Theater Part 3. That song specifically is like one of my favorite songs of all time, and it doesn't even really have a moment tied to it. It's just an absolute banger. But that is my number 5. So we were all over the place there.
We were.
Dude, I
We
had System of a Down and Marianas Trench.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great. It's great to have that. Like I love listening like so rap is probably my favorite genre, but it's also like the least
Dude,
I listen to, you know?
bro, I was about to put. I went and looked, and it honestly could go in here, but it's called. Hang on one second. This is like peak. You have a shitty car with a great sound system. All right, I lived with my friend who had that, and then I put a sound system in my in my '94 Plymouth Sundance. Bred to Die, Born to Live by Lil Scrappy. It was. I listened to this album just so much. He has a song called "Oh Yeah," and it's number 20. There's a lot of skits on his album,
Yeah.
but like "Gangster Gangster" with Lil Jon, I know everyone knows that song. I'm trying to think of the other ones that were on there, but like the whole album, I loved, and I almost put it in there, but it's if I listen to it now, I'd probably cringe a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, most likely. So he was signed to Little John?
I don't know, like like the song "Gangsta Gangsta," which like
Okay.
I think everyone would know, with Lil Jon is actually a little scrappy. Like that's his, like he's the main. It's his song, which
Okay.
I don't think a lot of people know. But he has a song called "Oh Yeah" that I must have listened to. I broke my MP3 player listening to that one song. I
It
loved it.
looks like his career kind of died down after rapping, but he has a reality career
Oh
now.
yeah, like
He's on Love and Hip Hop. He's big now.
it died after that album. Like I think it was his first album, and it was amazing. And I'm pretty sure like he got into like one of like the bigger rap groups, but it legit after that did not hit after that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, man,
I mean,
that's
there's a lot that could have made the list. Like I have are you a big Weezer fan at all?
dude, I hated Weezer.
Oh my God! Like, their first two albums are just great.
Yeah, I
Dude,
hated
I'm
Weezer.
shocked. But we talked about it earlier. Dude, Limp Bizkit. What are your thoughts?
Dude, Limp
Love
Bizkit has
Limp
some of the
Bizkit.
best bangers of my life. Like I will never forget. I could not get my mom to let me buy Limp Bizkit, and I think it was I'm just trying to remember.
Chocolate starfish and hot
It's
dog flavored
it's
water.
probably that. It's
Yeah.
probably that, but I'll know the cover once I see it. Um, yeah, it's chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water. So one of my buddies, who was kind of from the wrong side of the tracks in grade 6, he managed to let me borrow that album, and I remember listening to it like on my way home from walking home from school in grade 6, and like My Way was one of the most. It was destroyed by the radio. Because My Way,
Yeah.
I don't know. There was no way that you lived your life in the early 2000s and didn't hear My Way at least 500 times. Because that was
They
like,
had some good songs. Like,
yep.
so I've been torturing my wife recently because we have a Sirius XM radio
Mm-hmm.
in the car, and I live between like 10 stations. Like, and it's like they're in a row. So it goes like indie music, and then it goes like thrash metal, then it goes like late 90s, early 2000s rock, and then it goes like hip hop. So like I stay within that range of channels. But this one channel, it'll be like Corn, and then it'll be like Limp Bizkit and Disturbed and Slipknot, and like I always find a station right there, like or I always find a song on there. So My Way was on 2 days ago, and then yesterday I think it was Take a Look Around from that
Oh,
album,
so good.
which So they're a guilty pleasure, but they're like they had some
They
great
were dude
songs.
Rollin', like I mean, the Undertaker kind of made
NHL
that
hits.
cringe. Yeah, but like dude, Rollin'
Yeah.
was there. Like I said, there was no way you were a kid you heard that and you weren't fired up out of that. Another really good one that people are probably going to be like screaming because we're of our age because we're 30. That I feel like needs to be mentioned, but I have like favorite songs from each. Meteora. I really remember Meteora. And it could make my top five, but I think that I like my top
What's
five.
that?
Meteor by Linkin Park.
Oh, okay. See, I never got into Linkin Park.
Wow.
I know
Okay,
it's
that's okay.
surprising.
I was on the Weezer one, but dude, you didn't like Linkin Park and
Yes,
you
I
were
didn't
my
like
age.
Linkin Park, and it was because there's this one kid I didn't like in like grade school that liked them, and I thought they were just like lame.
Oh, you missed
So I'm
out.
like, I've carried that,
Yep.
and like I can't get into them as an adult.
Wow, dude, that's wild.
Yeah,
Dude, yeah, Hybrid Theory and Meteor, man. Like, I feel like those are the famous CD era rock bands. Like, that's wow, that's surprising.
yeah, I know.
That is surprising. Obviously, the Eminem show.
Yeah, so I remember getting that one, the edited version for like Christmas one year maybe. Dude, Eminem like so I didn't have an Eminem album on there. But to like any young white kid in
Yep,
like wherever, like Eminem was just the biggest
it
thing that
was
you could
it.
ever imagine.
Yeah.
Like
There was no
he
bad song. Like I legitimately
no.
I can't think of a song that I hear from Eminem that unless it's from Relapse that I will turn off. And honestly, is it Recovery? Recovery might be one of my top like favorite albums of all time. But
Okay.
Relapse was so bad.
See, I've gotten into Relapse more not
It's
recently, I
his
guess
like
in the last couple of
jokey
years.
tone of voice though. And it's
Yeah,
like
but his like rhyme schemes and stuff on the album were really good, but it's that accent that ruins it,
it's
you
because
know?
yeah, it was like him doing the Eminem show, but he's like 35 or 40, and that made it like dude, not
Dude, it's
as
like you can't listen to that in public because he's talking about like like
it's
serial
awful.
killer
Yeah,
stuff,
it's
right?
it's
So it's
bad
like,
news.
what are you gonna like roll your windows down and listen to the,
Like bumping it out.
I can't even say the things he says on the album because like, I'd be banned from
Relapse was
GWC.
really bad. I'd be banned from GW.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope that
Yeah,
gets all
Eminem
fixed.
from the like the Eminem show, Marshall Mathers LP, and Slim Shady LP. He had like
People
back to back to back
Encore
albums.
is like people have like thought like they have like where like or Encore wasn't good. Like there's people that think Encore wasn't good and it was like the beginning of like his like not like downfall but like where he like kind of went but I don't really see it. Like I thought that
You don't see it?
I like I'm looking at the song list for the first time and
Yeah.
maybe I'm just thinking of like some of my favorites. Oh, maybe wait. I thought that's
Uh, if you go and listen to the Eminem show and then go listen to like Encore,
man,
like
maybe
back
all
to
the
back.
songs I'm thinking of that were on Encore were just on the Eminem show. Is White Amer? Oh my God, no! Okay, now I see why people hated Encore. I don't recognize any of
It's
these.
it's not a
Oh,
good
like
out
Toy
like it's
Soldiers. Okay, I love like
there's a couple good songs on there, but that's about it. It's pretty bad.
yeah. No, I can see that too.
Somebody's like no Jay-Z. Dude, I mean, like I said, any like there's like three or four
For an
Jay-Z albums I
album,
could
like
probably
yeah, like for
oh
an
no, like
album,
I
you
have
have
like
to be
three or
start to
four.
finish. Like how
Oh
often do
no, he
you?
has them.
Yeah, you
He
think so?
has uh sleeves. Yeah, he has like
I wasn't a big Jay Z guy.
see, like I said, I'm a big rap guy. He has
Yeah.
Reasonable Doubt, The Blueprint. I'd even put like American Gangster up there for Jay-Z, but um I
What
don't
is the
like
most recent album that you love?
the most recent album that I love.
Yeah, like that could
Um
be that you think that maybe in 10 years, um, you're like, okay, this could be in, this could crack.
Yeah, I mean, I have we went to see this band a couple years ago, and they're like this Australian band,
Okay.
like from Australia, obviously. Middle Kids is the band,
Okay.
and we it was their first album. Um, and we saw them a few years ago at like this small club that was like 100 people,
Oh, that's
and it was
cool.
like so crazy because like my wife and I really love the band, like we love the album from start to finish. It was their only album at the time, and we see like literally what as at the time our favorite band in the world like, and we're right in front of them, so that was
Oh,
pretty cool.
that's
So that'll
cool.
probably remain there. But I did have the Taylor Swift album there from 2 years ago.
Okay, okay.
But dude, I'm big into music, so like all the time, like I find like a new album I really like.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mine would be
Are you gonna say MGK?
I was about to say yeah, Tickets to My Downfall. Yeah.
Uh,
Tickets
I
to My
like the
Downfall. Not
first song.
mainstream sellout that just came out, but Tickets to
Yeah.
My Downfall is like he ditched rapping, and I love Halsey, and like like she's got one banger on there, and like I love MGK. I think MGK is awesome, but
See, I
and not
can't
for
tell.
everybody. He's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
CJ just said Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's oh my God, it's Blue. I can't remember the album name. Also another band. I think that for it to be like a favorite album, you have to be able to, like, how often do you listen to an album full the way through now?
It depends on like so working from home, like I'll do it quite a bit, you know.
Like I just listen
Um,
to a song and I click go to a song radio.
do you? I like the daily mixes on Spotify. Do you have those?
Kind of, but like again, I make my own. Like so, like a
Okay.
hack for anyone that's listening. If you on Spotify, if you right click on a song you really like, it will find you songs that people listen to in succession to that song that on Spotify that are around the same genre, the same sound, the same tone, and it's how I found like all of my favorite music basically. But
Yeah.
it's a nice little hack that you can do. But yeah, the daily ones work too because it's
But yeah,
essentially
dude,
that.
that first like MGK album when he's doing like the pop punk stuff. The first song on that, I forget what it's called, but like I like that one a lot. Like the opening one, what's it called?
On like one of his recent ones.
The album you love,
Oh,
like
on
the Tickets to My Downfall. Yeah,
well,
what's that?
the first one's title track, and then there's Drunk Face, and then Forget Me Too. But the one,
Must be the title
it
track,
might be the
like
title track. Yeah.
yeah, the aggressive one.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
But
Yeah.
all right, we talked about music, so next week we'll have to pick out a new topic.
TV shows or movies?
We've talked about we did TV shows. We'll have to do movies.
Okay, we'll do movies. I want to see
I think we
like
did both, but we can figure out something.
yeah, with like yeah, let's do our five not movies we think that are the best made, but our five favorites.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like not like this isn't gonna win an Oscar, but you know. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, yeah, this is basically what it's gonna be now. So, you know, viewership drop off will probably be pretty imminent. But we did talk about Shell.
We did.
We did a little bit. Yeah, let's fix Hut Rush. Make Hut Rush great
Yeah.
again. All right. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.